here comes the sun. It's right over there. Anyway, but here comes the Bowers and Wilkins 805 D4. It's a two-way stand mount speaker, made in the UK, by the way, for those who care. And well, I have a lot of experience with Bowers and Wilkins speakers. As a matter of fact, the 805 D3, the predecessor, was my Speaker of the Year in 2016, and I lived with it for at least 6 or 7 months that year. So I have a lot of in-depth experience with the predecessor. So I was especially eager to try the 805 D4. I'm going to put up a quick picture of the 805 D3, and it's a beautiful speaker, but it's a combination of curves and angles. And here on the D4 version, it's all curves. Everything is rounded, and it makes it look, well, more modern, more contemporary. You know, so due to supply chain being very tight in the audio business and many other industries, I couldn't get my hands on a D4 to test here in Brooklyn. So I made a bunch of calls and wound up going to Stereo Exchange in Manhattan, in New York City, and I listened there. So thanks go out to Stereo Exchange and Dave and Glenn for making it all happen and making everything work beautifully. Great time. I spent a very pleasant afternoon there. So the Diamond Dome, tweeter, it's 1-inch Diamond Dome, which I don't think has changed from the previous generation, the D4. Anyway, it's mounted in this, basically a pod on top of the speaker that's milled from a solid block of aluminum. And it's 1000% inert. Now, the speaker is this reverse wrap design, that curve, and I'll show you the naked curves there, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And then it is, the cabinet itself is reinforced by matrix bracing. So it is a very solid structure. It weighs about 35 pounds, by the way, which is a lot for a speaker of this size. So the 6.5-inch continuum woofer, it kind of looks like last year's model. It does. And now the crossover network is mounted directly to the back of the speaker, to this plate that's on the back side of the speaker. Speaker is bi-wireable. I'm going to run down some numbers for you. The 805 D4's impedance is rated at 8 ohms, though it does dip down to 4.6 ohms. The sensitivity is 88 dB. Comes with a 5-year warranty, by the way. Oh, and the price. There's probably the most important number of all. The price is $8,000 a pair for the 805 D4. I'm going to put up the complete specs right now. The rest of the system at Stereo Exchange was a Mac 7200 integrated amplifier, EAT C-sharp turntable with an Ortofon bronze cartridge, and the CD player was a Luxman D03X. Nice system. It just felt right. As soon as I started playing music, I was like, we are in. So for my music choices, I started with an album I just bought a few weeks ago. It's by Matt Berry. It's called The Blue Elephant. I bought the LP. And Matt is a weird duck. I mean, he is odd. Kind of reminds me of Robin Hitchcock. It's very British, but the sound of the record, first of all, it's a COVID recording. He recorded it all by himself, well, with a drummer in 2020. He recorded himself, he produced it himself, and the music is late 1960s quirky psychedelic. Think if you know Strawberry Alarm Clock, like that. Fuzzed out guitars and keyboards and lots of reverb. It's great. It's a really good recording if you're into that sort of thing. So that's what I started with, and the B&W 805 D4 just unleashed this music. Because it's that kind of thing. It's the kind of music you do want to play fairly loud. I was by myself in the store at Stereo Exchange. I cranked it as much as I wanted. And the speaker showed no sense of strain as I played it loud. It just got better and better the louder I played it. And the music was alive. And that led to the next LP I brought, which was Brian Eno's first solo album. It's called Here Come the Warm Jets. It's a great title for a record. And I remember hearing this record when it was new in 1974. I bought this album, this very one. I bought this in 1974, this pressing. I've listened to it on dozens and dozens and dozens of systems. And it's always fun because it's dense. There's so much in there. Robert Fripp is on it. Phil, what's his name, Manizarra from Roxy Music. It's kind of like Roxy Music taken, just, it's all Eno basically. It's like the crazed version of Roxy Music, and that's saying something, right? But the layering, the way Eno does layering and reverb and space and just uses textures in the recording, yeah, the 805 D4 was giving all of that to me. The speakers disappeared, big wide soundstage, some fair degree of height actually too. If you've never heard Eno before and you're Eno curious, start with this one because it is, well, for him, the closest thing to a pop record. But it's crazed. I mean, there's tracks that are pretty smooth and quiet and just easy, and then others that are just nailing it, just hitting you really hard. Baby's on Fire is just, as the title suggests, it's crazy. As a matter of fact, I used to use that track when I was shopping for audio equipment in the 1970s. I would take that record to the store and listen to that track. And here I am in 2021, kind of doing the same thing. I go to the store and I'm auditioning the speaker. And it brought back a lot of memories. The next recording I played was Philip Glass's score to this film, Powakatsi. Now, it's not a typical Philip Glass sound per se. It's not repetitive in the way you normally think of Philip Glass. It has strings and horns and lots of percussion and a chorus. It's a gorgeous recording, nice dynamics, and the transient response coming off the 805 D4 was super impressive. So the diamond tweeter isn't there to make it brighter. No, it doesn't do that. It just lets you hear that air, that space in the recordings with amazing ease. There's a relaxed nature to this sound, to this high resolution sound. Maybe that's the way to parse this, yeah. It gives you oodles of detail, but it doesn't shout at you. It's not aggressive in that way. So you get the res, but you also get it to be sort of sweet sounding at the same time. On this Powakatsi, you should listen to this thing. Even if you're not into Philip Glass, check it out. You can stream it, I'm sure. And I think it's a gorgeous recording. And really, there's really some really good bass drums, and it's good. Check it out. So the question at this point was, could the 805 D4, could it energize the room with deep bass? You know, it's a fairly small speaker. With a 6.5-inch driver, how low could it go? How much energy could I get from that speaker? So I popped on this recording. It's a score for the TV series Mr. Robot, and it was done by Mac Quayle. And it's all synthesized, so there's a lot of bottom on these tracks. I started listening, and I was like, yes, this guy can dish it out, no problem. And it wasn't like it was trying. It certainly wasn't one-note bass or thick or muddled. It was clear, it was tight, it was fast. I'm thinking the Mac 7200 was also playing a part here. It just dished out plenty of current to make those drivers dance. If you're a home theater person and you're going to be playing movies with special effects and explosions and stuff, yeah, you're going to probably want to add a subwoofer to this. There are limits. But I didn't go nuts. I was playing this speaker pretty freaking loud, well into the 90 dB range, and its composure was never in doubt. So next one, I wanted to try something that was a little tougher. So I played this live Elton John recording from 1970. And here's the deal. I was actually present in the studio. It was done in a recording studio because it was a radio broadcast. It's kind of complicated how I wound up in the studio to be there for this, but I was. And I had a great time at the session. But the actual recording when it came out was a huge disappointment. Even then, I knew it wasn't a particularly good, natural, whatever. It's just not a good recording on so many levels. So it was a huge disappointment. So anyway, I wanted to see how the 805 D4 would handle less than pristine recordings. And you know what? Every ward, every bit of unintentional distortion was extremely evident over the 805. So yeah, if you play heavily compressed, processed music, this probably is not the right speaker for you. When I was playing good recordings on LP and CD of straight ahead acoustic jazz, this speaker just vanished. It just let the music speak for itself. It's amazing that the tweeter, which is the star, right, the diamond tweeter, you know what? You don't think about it. You don't think, it's certainly not bright, it's just effortless. That's what the diamond tweeter delivers. Effortless high frequencies and space and resolution of detail without making a big deal about it. Okay, Steve, so what do you really think? It's a B&W speaker. It sounds like a B&W, except better. And I will be very specific what I mean by better. Lower in distortion, clearer, more transparent, vivid even. It does those things, and it does it in such a natural way. You don't even think about it as it's happening. And that is a high compliment. Now, I didn't make that big a deal about the imaging, which is exceptional. It's not just wide and spacious and deep, but it actually has very good focus. Center images are truly locked in. Images across the width are also very specific. So, yeah. Now, it is $8,000. If you want more bass, if you have a really big room and you have parties and you want to crank it, yeah, you should probably be considering one of the towers. And the towers start, I think the 804 starts, I think, at $12,000 or $12,500. I'll put up the actual price in the screen right here. Now, before we get to the Audiophiliac viewer system of the day, I just want to take a detour and talk about a recording that was made by a friend of mine, Brent Butterworth. He's a writer, terrific writer, one of the best audio writers in the business, and a great editor. And we had a great working relationship for many years. But anyway, he's also a musician. I've seen him play. He plays bass usually, but he also plays ukulele, he plays percussion, he plays guitar. So he made this record with a buddy of his, Ron Seiger, who played sax, flute, and percussion. And it's jazz, but it's fun jazz. It swings, it's easygoing, and the tunes are all originals, and they're really good. They're catchy, catchy tunes. I have the CD, but you can stream it on Spotify, on Apple Music. It's a fun record. I strongly recommend you check it out. And now it is that time for the Audiophiliac viewer system of the day. Mark has two turntables, one for stereo records, one for mono records. The stereo one is a Mobile Fidelity Studio Deck with an Ortophon bronze cartridge. And that will soon be replaced with a Fikert Volare turntable. Those are sweet. The mono turntable is a Project RPM5 with an Ortophon mono cartridge. Each turntable is connected to its own Clear Audio Nano V2 phono preamp. DAC is an RME ADI. Amp is a Prima Luna Dialogue Premium HP. Streamer, the ever-popular Blue Sound Node 2i. And CD player is a Riga Apollo R. Those big speakers, you know those guys. Those are Klipsch Cornwall 4s. Nice going. We are back. My name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the Audiophiliac. You know, if you like what I'm doing here, please give me a like, a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. To do so, super easy to do. Hit that button, right down there. And when you do, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time there is a new episode. But I would add on to that if you want to support the channel, you've been here, you're enjoying the videos, I would urge you to check out my Patreon, which can be found at patreon.com/audiophiliac. There is a link to that in the description. And they, by the way, Patreon now accepts payment in dollars, pounds, and euros. And with that, I could say my work here is at last complete. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.